Okay, so dividing and multiplying. So when you're multiplying, you're trying to look for factors or multipliers that can cancel with dividers. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to look at the coefficients. So I can cancel a 2 out. So if I cancel a 2 out, I'm going to cross off 4 and put 2. I'm going to cancel 2 and put 1. That was me canceling or dividing by a 2. So when you do this, whatever you do to a top, you got to do to a bottom. Okay, top and bottom. Now I'm going to go to the x's. So I have an x cubed here and an x here. So the most I could divide by is an x. So if I divide by x, x cubed becomes x squared, and divide by x would cancel. And then I'm going to do the y's. So looking at the y's from the top, y's from the bottom, there's a y I could divide by. So this would cancel. And y squared, if you take a y out, divide a y out, is just a y. So the final answer is 10x squared on the top. Do you see the 2 and the 5 made the 10? X squared over y. Okay, so the next one, we're going to factor. So let's recall our factoring styles. You always have to say, what's my style? What's my style? We have, there's 5 of them. Give me one. GCFs. Difference of squares. Simple trinomials, complex trinomials, and the new one, negative outs. Okay. Boom, you should be able to recognize it. Difference of squares. So x plus minus 3. Over an x minus 2. Nothing I can do with that.
Can't negative out that one.
No, it has a positive x in it. So that's good. I like that. Okay. I am now going to change the process of dividing by this fraction to timesing and flipping. Okay, so I'm going to flip this around. Okay, so let's talk about this one. What's the style? Simple trinomial. So remember now I'm putting it on the bottom though, because I'm flipping it. So I'm doing this simple trinomial on the bottom. So what numbers multiply to 3? 3 times 1? You got to get yourself a negative 2 out of that. Get yourself a negative 2 out of it. Okay, so we put that on the bottom. Now this one, we're going to write it on the top. What is this style? Negative out, because it's leading with a negative variable. So negative 1 out. So everything's going to change. The negative x squared is now positive x squared. The plus x is a minus x. The plus 2 is a subtract 2. Okay, that's the same idea as a GCF. It's the same thing, it's just a negative 1 that's coming out. Okay, now negative 1, this piece I'm going to do as a simple trinomial now. But I'm not forgetting about the negative 1, it's still there, but this is a lot easier for me to factor. So x times x, and then what multiplies to 2? 2, 1. I need to get myself a -1 out of it. Okay, ready? That's the done factoring. So now you look for cancels. Anything that would be on a top and a bottom. So I can do this. X minus 3, x minus 3 can cancel each other because it's on a top, bottom. So this divided by this would be gone. X minus 2, x minus 2. And there's an x plus 1, x plus 1. So what am I all left with? I have an x plus 3 and a -1. So that's your final answer. Did you notice how I can crisscross? I'm just anywhere on the top, anywhere on the bottom. So you can do a top, bottom here. We did a top, bottom right in the same fraction. Okay, always a top, bottom though. Sometimes I get people who have like this, and then they try to cancel this. What's the problem there? Not top, bottom. So don't do that. Just because they see two of the same things, they cross them off. Okay, next one. X plus 1, nothing. 4, nothing. Okay, I'm going to times, and I'm going to flip, because it's a divide. So times and flip is what I do with that. X squared is going to go onto the top. And then this one is factorable, so I have to do some work. It is a, did you recognize GCF? What do you want to take out? 2x. So factor what you have left once you have the 2x out. So 2x times x, 2x times 1. Okay, once it's done factoring, then you look for cancels. So do you have anything on a top bottom that could be reduced? X plus 1. I could take a x out. There's an x squared here, so it would become just an x. And if I take an x out, that x would go away. So on the top, I have a x. Bottom is 8. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute of your own time. I need you to factor, they're all simple trinomials. They're all simple trinomials. So give me all the factors on that. There's no flipping here because we're already in timesing, so don't do anything different there. So give me all those factors. Okay, now that they're all factored, what can cancel? So I have an x plus 4 top bottom. I have an x minus 5 top bottom. And I have an x minus 1 top bottom. So how do you write your final answer? And I get 20% of people that write this wrong on their test. How do you write this answer? What do you have left on the top? What happens if the whole top did cancel? What is the number value? Is it 0 or 1 when something cancels? 1. So a couple things to think about is that x plus 6, I get people who write me x plus 6. That's not your answer because it's a fraction, 1 over. And I get the idea that when things cancel, mistaking it for 0. But when things cancel, as in 5 over 5, that cancels. Well, 5 over 5 is 1. Cancels make 1.